When the markets were down 5%, I said I would readjust my portfolio. Now the markets are 10% down and we are officially in correction territory for the NASDAQ. And so this calls for a different approach. And as an economics teacher who's been investing for the last 15 years, really, I wanted to make a video to calm all of you. Okay, and so if you're losing money in the stock market, pay attention to the 5 things that I'm going to tell you. I have everything written down over here. All right, so number 1, you want to adjust your perspective. You want to zoom out. And if you actually zoom out, like go to Yahoo Finance, S&P 500, zoom out, look at all instead of what happened in the past year. Even the 2008 crash was a blip, yeah? Overall, it goes up, okay? So don't worry about it. Market corrections of 10% happen every single year, yeah? And so there's a difference between the market sitting at 5% down and you really knowing that it's going to continue to fall versus we're in a 10% correction territory, which is pretty common. But what's less common is it going to negative 20%, negative 30%. I mean, it might happen, right? But in those situations, it's much more likely instead that the market will go back up after it corrects 10 to 20% or something like that. Obviously, if you've readjusted your portfolio while the market's down 5% like I did, you probably have a lot more cash on hand ready to make those investments if the market does go down 20%, okay? But obviously stick to the plan that you've made for yourself and don't panic sell. Number 2, you want to audit yourself. What ends up happening during times when the market is going up is market mania. So did you buy a stock because of market mania? Did you buy a stock because you got a tip from a stranger on the internet and you thought they made sense without any kind of critical inquiry that you should have made yourself? Or did you buy a stock based on raw belief? Like you believe that Elon Musk is gonna save the American economy and put money back into the hands of people, so you bought Tesla. If so, it's no wonder you feel uncertain, right? You want to take this as a lesson and make sure future investments rest on sound reasons. Will the company be profitable? Will the company continue to be competitive over time? Number 3, there are a million reasons to sell, but the market going down isn't one of them. When I made my last video, I said I'd sell to rebalance, and I did. I didn't sell out of panic or fear though. I sold to reduce volatility and to have more ammo in the bank account to make more investments. I still own S&P 500 index funds. I still own investments in the top 20 companies on the S&P, and they're down, right? They're down like 7, 8, 10%. But I'm not afraid because I'm holding it for the next 20 years, yeah? Now, to give even more context, what did I actually sell? I sold $35,000 worth of an index fund that I bought years ago that I was still up over 30% on because I bought that one before I learned about lower costs funds like VOO. And so I really took this opportunity to sell a fund that I was paying too much for in terms of MER so I can switch to a lower cost fund. Okay, number 4. The media will always give you a reason to do anything. Buy or sell, do nothing, because that's what gets views. You making money doesn't mean they make money, right? They make money when you read their stuff, okay? So make sure your reason for doing anything in the markets is your reason, not some reason imposed upon you that you chose to trust out of your own ignorance. Ignore most of the media. Look at data instead. And so the only articles I read are articles that show, okay, what is the GDP increase or decline this month, right? Did we add jobs this month? What is the Fed doing with the interest rate policies? Are they printing money? What's the government doing in terms of the fiscal policy? So that's really the only thing I look at, and I ignore all opinions. I just look at the facts of what's happened. And so instead of paying attention to like Yahoo Finance or CNN, try searching up the leading economic indicator, right? LEI, and paying attention to changes in that, because that's objective data that you can use to make decisions on. Okay, number 5, look outside the stock market and make sure you can continue to live your life well. A stock market crash doesn't happen by itself. There's usually a recession that comes with it, and so make sure you're protected, right? Make sure that you are employed, at this time. Make sure that you're not at risk of losing your job anytime soon. Make sure you have cash on hand to meet emergencies. Maybe start spending a little less today so you actually save money. Make sure you're making yourself indispensable in your workplace, not in the people-pleasing kind of way, just plain old good work and being a good person. Make sure you're reducing your debt. Make sure you've stayed invested and you've thought about what you would do if you were laid off, right? Actually think through the steps. It's going to reduce your fear of uncertainty, okay? Number 6, and probably the most important one, honestly, go for a walk. When all you think are things in the red in the stock market, your thinking gets clouded. You become irrational. You start paying attention to the news and thinking about things that could happen. And your decisions are dictated by a future you feel uncertain about, that you've over-amplified the probability of its actual occurrence, right? Change your environment. Do something fun that you normally wouldn't do by yourself or with a loved one. It will help you appreciate the world more and really center your mind on what's important and why you're in the markets in the first place. It's to help create the life for yourself and your family that you believe you all deserve, right? And so what does all of this actually mean? It means that it's now the time for you to be a self-responsible, long-term thinker who makes prudent decisions and is also grateful for everything that you have. If that is you, you'll be headed in the right direction regardless. And it sure beats the alternative of being someone who is irresponsible, who thinks short term, who makes rash decisions and complains about all of life, doesn't it? Like and subscribe, because building wealth actually matters, and that's what this channel is about.